All right. So we are live. We are back here again. Consistent is what I wanted. We've been consistent, actually doubling, maybe tripling. I don't know if we did 3 in a day, but doubling down and getting a content bank of episodes. And it just feels good, don't you think?
I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
What's going on in your mind today?
Let's see. I'm feeling in a really good place. I had a really great workout.
It was Mother's Day.
Had a really
How
fun
was your
Mother's
Mother's
Day.
Day?
It was really nice.
What was your favorite part?
I liked
Was it that cool t-shirt that you got?
I got a new t-shirt and I got some gifts from my children, homemade gifts, which are the best, and a Kindle.
And we went to dinner.
And we went to dinner with some really, really amazing friends. Yeah, it was a really great Mother's Day.
It was actually like more than we normally do.
It was.
Because you're not like a big Mother's Day person. You just
And
like,
yeah. I mean, I don't. What does that even mean? What's a big Mother's Day person like?
some people are like, oh, it's Mother's Day. I got to get my nails done and my hair done and I need to be pampered and
Mm.
which is great. I mean, I'm sure that people do it, but you just kind of was like, yeah, I just want to be with my family and go
Yeah.
for a walk and spend time together and go to the gym. We went and did some recovery.
It's just a really perfect day for what I like.
Yeah. Father's Day coming up. You know what I like to do? Get a steak.
Get a steak, work, lift some weights.
Lift some weights. All right. So let's get into the topic. I just like to just get these things rock and rolling and just be real and just have a conversation. But the topic that I want to talk about today is how to have hard conversations without destroying trust.
Very good. How to have hard conversations without destroying trust.
First off, break it down on a scale of 1 to 10. How much do you trust me?
10.
And let's like break down like different styles of trust. Well, why is it a 10?
On all across the board, probably I give you a 10. Just depends. I don't know what like subcategories you're gonna put it
Well,
in.
when I'm looking at trust, right? There's just trusting people with a secret. There's trusting people with your life. There's
Mm-hmm.
trusting in a relationship that the person's going to be monogamous, trusting that I'm going to provide for you, trusting that I won't let you down. I mean, I guess it could be just one general trust, but if I look at it, um, I think each situation, each scenario, each different factor of our lives
Mm-hmm.
requires almost like an audit on the trust. Like what I mean, right? Like I will trust you to go out with your friends and because you don't drink, right? So I'm not ever worried about you
Mm-hmm.
cheating on me. But there's people out there that have to think about that specific piece of trust. That's what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, sure. I would
Like
never.
they
That
might
doesn't cross
trust them
my
with
mind.
their kids, but then there's
Mhm.
like for whatever reason there's some jealousy or there's some trust issues for whatever reason that people don't trust them. So when it breaks it down, it's not just like one piece of trust. When people are like, yeah, do you trust me? You don't trust me? Well, I think that if it's not 100% trust, then the answer has to be no. I don't trust you at all.
Yeah, I definitely think that if you're talking about that type, to me, like that little example of going out or let me see your phone or I don't know, any of those are such like low vibrational relationship trust things that we are like so far past that. I mean, have we even ever been there? I
No,
don't
I don't
even
think
think
we've
so.
ever been there. I mean, ever since I met you,
So I think more of trust, how you said, like, do I trust you to protect and to provide and not just provide financially, but provide emotional stability, physical, like protection, just much higher vibrational types of trust
Mhm.
than do I trust you with sharing my true and my most vulnerable feelings and those types of things,
Those are the
right?
things
Like,
I want to talk about today
yeah,
is like having hard conversations because, you know,
because we do have them. I mean, hard conversations or just conversations that need to be had. Like they're just necessary. I don't know. I don't necessarily label them as hard, but they're necessary.
yeah. But I mean, if we didn't trust each other, then being able to talk about the stuff or to be able to, it's not even talk about, be able to receive it. So I think like
Mm,
trust is, can I trust this person? They're not going to blow up and yell back at me,
yeah,
right?
totally.
Like, how are they going to receive it? Can I be honest with them? I think trust is obviously more for the person than it is for me, right? So like, if you're trusting me, that you're going to tell me something and I'm not going to just beat you,
Blow up or beat me.
right?
Yeah, I
Right.
guess. Yeah.
Like I'm not just gonna, but I mean, not physically beat you, but just like beat you down and use the word punching bag a couple weeks ago. Not that I've ever punched you, full disclaimer here, but like just the emotional shit that we go through,
Yeah.
that I go through building this thing every
Hmm.
day. and being able to receive some truth sometimes when you're already beat down from the world.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's hard, it's probably one of the most loving things that you can do for me.
Yeah.
Right? What's the example we just had? It was about the other day about going home. You're like, well, I think you'd be a little bit negative, and not being negative, I'm being factual about it. Right. And sometimes I think the facts about it, though you say I'm being negative, the truth is like, really I don't really approve of everything we're doing.
Right.
Right. I just
Yeah.
don't. But that also doesn't mean I'm not going to compromise.
Sure.
Right. It doesn't mean I'm not going to figure it out. And I think what's super cool about being able to build a relationship, that's what we're going to talk about, is how we built the relationship to where I don't have to agree. You don't have to agree,
Yep.
but we still come together for what we want.
Always.
And I think that a lot of times, I'm doing a lot of stuff specifically on this one. Like, I'll just share the story. We're going to head back home for a couple months, right? Or whatever it looks like. We're going to figure out how to go back and forth between Arizona and
the farm.
Florida or whatever. I don't know why I say Florida. I've lived everywhere. You lived in too many places when you can't even freaking remember what house you have and where you're going. But between the farm in Wisconsin and back and forth, I mean, number one, you guys don't really want to be in the desert. It's 130 degrees in August. But for me, like what I want to do and what we're committed on and what we said we're going to do is to go and run and run and run and run and build. Yep. Right. And I perceive that to be a different type of way. I didn't fully expect that for me to build this thing. I'll talk about this past couple of weeks. I underestimated how hard it was going to be for all of you guys.
Yeah. I think we underestimated it ourselves.
You meaning you and the kids?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I heard some stuff last night when we were over at Doug and Tia's. And, Phoenix was talking about, Doug asked me, he's like, so what do you want, Phoenix?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you want?
I love that.
And what's the most important thing to you? And, he kind of didn't want to say it, but I think he felt comfortable around Doug to be like, the most important thing for me to be is playing basketball with my friends.
Sure.
In my life. But I love my dad, and to be without him is hard. And it's not about missing him. It's about holding him back from his success. And I looked at him and I'm like, well, that's a pretty grown up thing to say. But, but like, you don't have to worry about my success. That's not your responsibility. Just like it's not your responsibility. And I'm taking this on trust is like, at the end of the day, I'm building this for us. But the reality is, I've said it multiple times, I'm building it for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Something inside of your heart that you have, that you have inside of you that you're unwavering to, like you're going to go after it.
None of you guys really, I don't want to say really care. That's not the right word. But none of you guys wake up every day and are like, yes, I can't wait to work. I can't wait to attack. I can't wait to go build this brand. I can't wait to do all the stuff that Dad does. I do it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to the conversation about the trust. You're able to say, hey, listen, I think you're being a little negative. I was able to be like, nah, man, I'm not being negative, but here's how I feel.
Yeah.
And this is how I feel about it. And I don't think it's fair, but there's the most important thing is my family.
Yeah. I mean, you always say that.
So I guess I'll have to figure this out. I guess I'll have to figure out where do I have to sacrifice. Not that you guys don't make sacrifices, right?
Right.
But I think what's a really important thing is in the relationship is over time, how I've been able to get to a place to where nothing ever explodes into a big fight.
No, it never has.
Right? Why do you think that is?
I think we truly, truly just respect each other on such an elevated level that I truly want to know and understand what perspective you're coming from. Anytime that we ever have had a conversation on disagreeing about something, I'm never wanting to have this conversation to like be a winner, to be like, oh, see, I told you, like, I'm not trying to win. I genuinely want to know what you're feeling, why you're thinking this way, where it's coming from, because at the end of the day, all I want to do is come up with a solution. Or sometimes we don't even need a solution. We just want to say each other's piece, understand each other's perspectives. And then sometimes we're just like, okay, you said your piece, I said my piece, I know where you're sitting at, and now you know where I'm sitting at. And sometimes that's enough, Yesterday's conversation, or was it yesterday? When was it? Either way, a couple days ago conversation. Yeah, it was just a very real and this is where we're sitting, this is how I'm feeling, this is how you're feeling, right? And it's not the answers you want to hear. I fully understand like putting myself in your shoes that the last thing you want to hear when you're trying to build something massive is that your family doesn't want to be in a place that you know you could dominate, right? Like I know how hard that is to like want to run and go, but to know that your family is not completely happy in where they're located. Man, I feel how frustrating and how time consuming and how distracting that could be to your work. Of course I know that. But at the same time, like we said, I want you to know the way we're feeling. I don't want to be like this wife that has to walk on eggshells around her husband, or I can't tell my husband that because no, that's not how you and I are.
Right.
We are very open, we are very communicative, we are super real with each other, even if it's not what we want to hear. And I think something really important too to say is there is a time and a place for a time and a place for the conversations or to not have the conversations. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things, and this is just the fact of being a wife with a massive husband, like a massive entrepreneurial husband, like with his massive dream on his heart. There is a lot of things that just don't need to be said in the moment. You don't need to continuously add gasoline to the fire. You just don't, right? Like I just think that's important to say because typically that doesn't lead to anything or anywhere, right? And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe that's not a really necessary. That doesn't need to be brought up. It just doesn't. And I don't think I just think maybe that's an emotional intelligence thing too, where it's like, is this actually going to aid in the solution to what we're trying to, or is that just going to be hurtful? Or is that just going to,
Yeah.
um, or is it just unnecessary? I don't ever think, I've never thought about trying to say something hurtful to you, but just unnecessary. Like that might just give him unnecessary added stress. That's just going to add unnecessary
Most of the stresses that are on top of me all day long, every day, are all unnecessary.
Yeah,
And,
that's
and
true.
and that, like, when you really boil it down to, I mean, I just had a meeting this morning, and we're going through list after list after list of things that I'm facing and are going on. I'm like, so many of these freaking things going on in my life are just bad decisions,
I
right?
think it's all in the name of growth. I think that when you move at the speed you do, I think unfortunately mistakes are inevitable. I think that, and again, because you have you have two gears, on or off. And right now you're on. You're I don't know if I've ever seen you off. You're always on. And yeah, just at the speed and to the level, to the degree of that you want to win at. I mean, I think again, I just think mistakes are inevitable. I think it's frustrating. I think that it does bite you in the butt to have these, you know, racing, and then cleaning up, and just not sitting and chilling. Because I mean, I don't know. I just think that's a really necessary part to the level that you want to go at. It is a lot slower of a move. It is a lot more contemplative. And I know that's like you say that goes against everything, but you're already past that level. You'll say, "Oh, that goes against everything I know. Action over everything, action." And I agree that action absolutely needs to be taken, but to the level you're past that. Like that might be for somebody who needs to hear what it takes to get to $1 million, right? But you're way past that. You're like so far past that. You're at the level now where it's like you're at the fucking A players club now, right? Like, what are they doing? They're slowing down. They're putting in processes. They're being more methodical. They're being more intentional. They have massive boundaries on their time. It's just what it is.
Right.
And I think that's really hard. I think that's hard for your like hustle heart to like come to the realization that damn, that's the spot I'm at. That's not nearly as fun.
Well, it's not about being that fun. See, I just don't see it that way.
I know you don't.
Right. I just don't see us that way right now, especially like because I go down in the lowest, darkest moments when I'm facing where we're at. I'm just like, man, you're not winning. And I'm just not winning the way that I want to win. And the
I think you'll
last,
always feel that way.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know until I don't think so, because
You say
I
that.
know how I want it to feel. And I know what it looks like in my mind, at least the way that I know what the plan is,
Mhm.
right? Or I know what the end result is. And I'm not moving towards it at a speed. I'm actually moving it away from it right now. And it's interesting because as you move away from it, I'm probably going to move back forward to it like a slingshot and then bounce back. But as
Mhm.
I'm getting closer and closer to time, as I get older, which is this other variable, I'm watching myself drift back. I'm watching some of the decisions that I've made. I'm questioning some of the things that we've done. And I'm like, damn, dude, talk about trust, but I don't know if I trust myself right now.
That's interesting because even in all of the uncertainties or chaoses or anything that goes on within the business that causes those
And I'm just
emotions.
real on it. I'm just being real.
Yeah,
And
I know,
then
and
like
you
most
always are.
people probably won't say, they want to talk about how fucking great it is, how amazing they are, how
Mhm.
they're winning, how they
So
got sick
tough. Yeah.
cars and they're fucking shredded and my life is this. Nah, man,
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm trying to move forward and on the trying to go forward. There's a lot of things that aren't working right now. There's a lot of decisions I probably shouldn't have made. There's a
Sure.
lot of fucking things that make me not trust myself, but still at home, I got to make sure my wife trusts me. I got to make
Yeah.
sure that I provide for these people. And it's not just in the, what I look at it is like the size of where we were and who we were to where we're going backwards. It's almost like I'm back to entry level shit, only
Mm.
with an immense amount of overhead.
Yeah, sure. No,
Just
I get that.
fucking pressure and overhead, but everywhere I look, there's nowhere to go except for just me. And people want to help, but the results aren't there. So when I don't have the results, if I can't point to a result,
Mhm.
I can't tell you I'm winning,
Yes, I know that for a fact about you.
right? And results are
Mhm.
not measured by like how close we almost were. This isn't fucking horseshoes.
Yeah.
Results are measured by, did we do what we said we're going to do? Which is very much about how we created a culture in our relationship and in our family of trust. I always say I always do what I said I'm going to do, but it was one of our, I don't know, our conversations recently here where, we were in the room and I might have talked about this on the other episode, but it doesn't matter because people don't really listen anyway. So
Yeah, they do.
people don't, they got to hear it 7,000 times before they hear it. But, I asked you, I said, what does that hat look like? What does it mean to you?
Mhm.
Right. And you said it means I changed a lot of lives, like done some good things, but essentially it's chaotic and not finished and not followed through.
Yep.
Which was hard to hear. But when I took a step back and looked at it, what you were really saying was like, you're not doing what the fuck you said you're gonna do, you loser. That's how I heard it,
Yeah, sure.
right? That's that, and whether you meant it or not,
You
I
know what?
don't
I think
care because that's
I
how I
do.
hear it.
I think that's exact. I mean, I would never say it that way to you, but I think you're right in the sense that I was telling you that you painted me a picture, you painted us a picture, we painted a picture together. That was this is what we're setting out to do, and then somewhere along the way, you did, and then it got really muddied, and then it just kind of got to a spot where we were gonna blow it all up and throw it all away. And so when you asked me that, I think you're right. I was telling you that it was like probably the first time that you'd ever done something, almost actually, almost done something that you said you were gonna do and you didn't do it.
It's interesting though, because, and I didn't tell you this, but the rebuttal back to it is like essentially came out like lacking commitment, I think is what you said. What not I don't know how it came out, but I received it as like lacking commitment. And the reality is though, I don't know anybody who's committed as I've been. There's been fucking years of carrying this thing on my back,
Yeah.
like
I also think that it's hard.
millions of dollars.
I think that and again, this goes back to like your hustler heart, right? I hope, and you show glimpses and stepping into it, and I don't really know much about building a business other than what, I'm not like you in the sense where I study it all day, but I do know that that build and burn mentality comes from you have a very hard time with getting something and letting it just run like a well-oiled machine. And I do believe that there needs to be advances and things need to be, revamped and brought to life into this age, right? Like you can't take something from 10 years ago, like Apple, like you said. If he would have just had this one prototype of an iPhone and he didn't keep advancing, we wouldn't have the iPhone 16 and all these, right? So in that sense, I think it's really hard for you because of your hustler heart, where you just are love building, you love the whatever. So when you have something, you just kind of get to a spot where you're like, well, maybe I need to fix this and fix this. And I was like, maybe those aren't the things we should be fixing because that works, you know?
Yeah. Well, I often look at like why things don't work or why I have to rebuild them, why I have to burn them down. And more often than not, it comes down to one fundamental question: what's too much Mark and what's not enough Mark
For sure.
inside of the program or
Mhm.
inside of the company?
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't matter because I've built some pretty good systems and processes
Amazing.
and people, but I think at the end of the day, I've made some poor choices over the years on allowing people to get close to me or for whatever reason, and it fell off and I didn't continue to build the culture. I didn't make a big enough pivot to be able to become a better leader. Right. And
Mhm.
it was difficult to be a leader, to lead the way I know I needed to lead because I'm back digging in the beginning. I mean, we're in a season right now where I told you the other day, like, I mean, the fact that I'm going to go back on the phone on the front end for the alcohol program, right? Which a few weeks ago we're going to shut off. And you said,
Yep.
but then you said I didn't finish it. So I'm like, well, I might as well fucking finish it. I might as well be the number one recovery program in the world and build the multiple locations that I want and build the headquarters that I want and build the e-commerce brand that I
Yeah.
want. I mean, I'm wearing all of this stress every freaking day, but not getting any closer to my dreams,
Mhm.
right? I'm just basically a glorified bitch paying for shit every day. And to know that I got to go back down to do that to reestablish the culture is a giant slap in the face. And that was one of the meetings I had this morning. Like when we're uncovering, we're looking at financials, we're doing all the stuff before I'm about to film, and we're looking at what I got to do in this this road that I have in front of me. I'm not 35 anymore.
Mhm.
I'm 45.
Mhm.
I didn't plan on being here
Yeah.
in 10. We advanced up. I shouldn't be here right now. And I trusted throughout the years and people and processes and stuff, and it fell apart. And then what they always say is, well, Mark's not passionate about it anymore. Well, it's hard to be passionate when you feel like you're getting fucked in the ass with no lube every day,
Yeah, no kidding.
right?
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that to complain, but the reality is I'm going back for more because I had to finish what I started. And we talk about the culture inside of the house, and there was no way I was going to quit. And you know that no matter what. I just don't know how to quit.
I
But
do
it
know that.
doesn't mean inside of my head that we've already accepted the fact that we're going to be billionaires, and you don't get to become a billionaire not being able to have the pain and the struggle. But holy fuck, man, this game we're in right now feels like sorry. Like
Bump back to
I just
start.
keep
Bump
getting
back to
bumped
start.
back to start. It's bump back to start. Bump back to start. All my guys get out, we're running, I get bumped back to start. And inside of that, right? Talk about trust, you start questioning your own skills. Do you have the
Yeah.
grit? Do you really have are you really as good as you say you are? Where did you fall off?
I think what's really important in those moments, because I know that there's going to be a husband who feels somewhat similar to you, right? And a wife that's listening to this, and just because I made this mistake, and I want to make sure that a wife that's husband goes through this, that she doesn't get caught in like that chaotic loophole of, oh my God, my husband is, venting to me and everything is crumbling, and oh my God, are we going to lose everything? And blah, like, right? It's a scary moment to if you allow yourself to get wrapped up. If I allowed myself to get wrapped up, because I had before, to get wrapped up in your fears, essentially, right? Or the feelings of not being good enough, or what the fuck am I going to do, right? Um, allowing if I allowed myself to get caught up in that, I bring I'm not doing my job as your wife, right? I'm bringing I'm aiding in the problem, and I'm bringing us right down with you, and I'm bringing scarcity and fear, and that does not help. And so when I did that, and what I did in the past is maybe I didn't aid in it because I think I'd always been relatively calm.
Nah, I
But
don't
what
think
I
you've
didn't
yeah.
do is I didn't tell you, like, you're the fucking man. You are the best. You know exactly what you're doing. Keep doing it. And so obviously now in this season of our life, when you are coming to me with these things, which I welcome every single time, I've said that before, whatever doubts, fears, risks, feelings that you have about yourself, if you're not feeling good enough because things are working exactly how you want them, I'm able to now tell you, you're the fucking man. Like, what do you mean you don't see how valuable you are, what you've built? I'm just like pouring into you now
Mhm.
the things that I never used to do. And yeah, where I was going with that is if
That's growth on your part
it
though,
is massive
right?
growth
Like
on my part. And because there was a time when you would tell me you would tell me, or we're not good enough, or I'm just not good enough. And I believed you. I literally believed you. I didn't know. I had no clue. I was so enamored with just your leadership, and your word was everything to me, and what you said, I believed, right? I didn't know what I didn't know. And so obviously leaving Wisconsin and exploring our world and seeing like, oh my gosh,
Neither of us knew.
neither of us
Because
really knew.
the mirror in the world that the mirror of our life is so small there.
Yeah.
It's just the fucking facts. It's a small life.
It's very small.
It's not hard to win there. Like,
No.
it's just not. So when you're looking around, you in comparison as a thief, right? It's the thief of joy. You look around at all these other people there. There's nobody that will eat. There's literally nobody there that understands what we go through. Maybe there is in the city, maybe a couple business owners, some other guys
we don't
out
know
there,
everybody.
but I don't know every. I mean, there's just it's not like this. It's not like this. Like Tyler lives in the Optima. Like it's full of entrepreneurs everywhere all day long, having conversations about what they're going through, building their businesses.
Yeah.
I walk around in a freaking field by myself alone, wondering, looking at results, making 64% profit margins and things like this, and in your mind's telling it sucks. You would then hire a coach, and the coaches essentially try to keep you under them and make you feel like you suck. They're not good enough. Then you come out, you're like, well, what the fuck? I guess I'm actually better than I thought. Wait, what you're selling me was a lie. Okay, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
when you're in years of almost like a
dome was over us.
I was gonna say a zoo, right? Like I was like a caged animal that just couldn't get out, but I was wondering all the time, what's that fucking piece of meat look like over there? Yeah. What does that success taste like? What do they have that I don't have?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because I'm working out at this fucking gym where they're listening to classical jazz music and I can't turn it off because it's silver sneaker hour and I want to fucking kill everybody in here, right? Because that's the environment there, right? I can't change a radio station because the guys that are 90 are going to be upset, and my success didn't feel ever like success. It felt like loss.
Yeah.
Because everyone on the outside makes it look like they're winning.
Everybody.
Right.
And
to the point where some decisions we made have driven me off the cliff.
100%.
Right. Financially in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
And the good news about money is that they make more of it every day, and it's just what a value brings to the world. So it doesn't bother me. So I just go get more. But there's a lot of unneeded pressures that I didn't have to have, which completely skews my entire view on being a coach, because I want to be a good coach, right? I want to be a great leader. I don't want people to think that it's going to be easy, but I also want them to know that it's not as hard as they think. And that my success isn't the ultimate success, that hopefully you guys can have more than me. I just got to go work. And if I show you how to do it, you should run past me.
Of course.
That's like what a real coach wants.
Ultimate coach.
I don't just say that. I mean that.
You actually get people to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the right thing to do. But talking about trust in the relationship, to be able to have just in our family, we created a culture where I think just open conversation and communication is everything. Which has been one of the most difficult things for me, believe it or not, because I don't really ever trust people to talk to. Right. So I grew up in a household of liars and family of liars. So whatever I knew, I had to unlearn. And we've created this house where even the kids feel comfortable talking to some degree, right?
Of course.
Letting me know how they feel, or stating their mind, and they're giving us their 2 cents on how their life should go. And I think it's just about being open.
Yeah, of course. It's literally about being open.
But not being open means that you're not worried about getting beat down.
Yeah. And trusting that your partner, giving them the vulnerable information or the vulnerable state that you're feeling, and trusting that your partner isn't going to freaking use it against you or throw it in your face or blow up, right? And the more, I can honestly say, the more often that you have these vulnerable and honest and open conversations with your partner, the easier they get. I mean, unless you have a very emotionally unintelligent partner who has zero,
as long as they don't turn
growth
into like just bitch sessions.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Right? The bitch sessions are the nagging, right? Like I've told you 1,000 times. I grew up, my mom was continuously nagging my dad. And I love her to death, but she did. Like, it didn't matter what my dad did or he didn't do, like, he was getting nagged at. And I just remember as I was growing up, I was like, I'm never going to be that person because I saw that it did nothing except for it beat down my dad, right? Like he provided this incredible life. And of course my mom provided the incredible life too, right? They were truly a team, but I just saw like the beat downness and I was like, man, I just felt like it could have been so much more constructive if they would have came together and she would have been like, okay, you know what? Maybe I don't necessarily agree, but what can we do to figure this freaking thing out? You know,
Sure.
it was just kind of like a bitch fest. And so I never wanted to have that. I never wanted to be that. So my entire life, I was like, okay, what are we trying to get out of this? There has to be a solution. There has to be like, we're going into this, we're on the same
Do you think
team.
you're always like that, or was it just with me?
Um, yeah, no, I was definitely not always like that. I was definitely, I mean, back before I had met you and knew about self-development and growth, I was in relationships where it was like keeping score, like you hurt my feelings, so I'm gonna hurt yours. And then you said this, so I'm gonna treat you like shit. It was just like constant bitching back and forth and like who could hurt each other worse or, and I hated that.
Sounds healthy.
It was very unhealthy. And I always knew I never wanted that. So it was actually one of the first things we said when we got together. I was like, I just want an easy relationship. And we didn't mean easy as in not being able to have truthful, hard conversations, but easy as in like, oh, wow, you're an emotionally intelligent human. Thank you for trusting me and trusting and for like that with the information that you're giving me right now. I bet that was really hard conversation for you to try to bring up to me because you don't know how I'm going to react, but you trusted me with that. And so I'm not going to act like an asshole and use it against you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because I want to grow with you. I want to build this life with you. And so the only way I know that's going to happen is if both of us are in the front and pulling this thing's weight, you know?
I mean, there's often, I mean, I know you know this, but there's times I often think like, as much as I love you, that you've heard me say this many times, that you guys are better off without me.
Yeah, you say that often. And I'd be lying if not that I've ever thought I was better off without you, but man, there's been plenty of times in like after we have these tough conversations about business or vent or whatever is going on, I'm like, damn, am I really built for this life? Because this sucks. Like this is a lot. It's heavy. I don't have the skill set enough to like help my husband move the cart. Like these are the places that I get put in,
Mhm.
right? And all I want to do is see him succeed and win. And I feel like I'm being a freaking rear end and like I'm not being helpful. Um, but I think at the end of the day, like you said, I don't give myself enough credit. You definitely don't give yourself enough credit. But at the end of the day, we both want the same thing. We both know where we want to go. And again, I think we've said it before. It's just you're my best friend and vice versa. And I think when you look at it like that, like I'd never want to do life without you. And you don't ever want to do life without me. And so at the
No,
end of the day,
I definitely don't, but I literally
but you've thought,
sometimes,
I know
I mean,
sometimes it would be
I don't
easier.
think like, I sometimes think the greatest form of love is to let you guys all go because I think that being with me is one of the most difficult decisions you guys have ever made in your life. And
Yeah.
that's not me, that's me being brutally honest on this camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Like
You said
I'm
that.
like in my mind when you guys want to go home, I'm like, well, maybe they'll just go home, right? Let
Hmm.
them live there and just pay for the house and all the stuff and let them go and you just go live in an apartment and finish your dream. Like I know it sounds crazy, right?
I mean, that's how you feel. You've said that to me
Because I
1,000
can't
times.
stop what I'm doing.
And again,
And
I
most
think
dudes would fucking quit. They wouldn't even question. Like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, I'm gonna go. Like I literally in my mind, I have to unwind. Like I'll send them home. I love them more than I love myself. So what I'll do is just go ahead and fucking be miserable alone. But at least I'm gonna pull this off. Like if there's an obsession that I have for where I'm going that I don't even know that you know how to comprehend. But then I have to
and I
back
don't.
out of it, right? Like
I don't know how to comprehend it because my brain doesn't think that way, but what I do know is that you're wired that way, and I don't ever wanna try and change you. You love who you are. There is a gift and a fire inside of you that I'm not ever gonna put that out. And so, you've said it 1,000 times and I could have reacted in a way that's like, "Oh my god, you don't wanna be with us?" About like, I'm just no, that's not how it's gonna be. That's not ever how it's gonna
well, I
go.
think you received it from the truth. I don't think you were saying I didn't understand that I didn't want to be with you. I was trying to
I knew
let you
exactly
out of
where
the
you were coming
pain.
from.
Like
Yeah,
it's painful in my head.
it's
So I can
painful.
only imagine how it feels for you guys.
And again, just to give you that reassurance, like, hey, listen, like, I don't know what it is to be in your head, honey. Like, I don't know freaking clue. I don't pretend I ever even know. None of these guys even in here, they have no clue what it's like to be in your head. You have been given a unique and freaking crazy gift, and that's exactly the way you got to look at it. I'll never pretend to know what that's like. But what I do know is that no matter how you feel, I know that if I back you 110%, because I've always gotten love back. I've always, you know what I mean? Like it's to me, it's always been a no-brainer. Like there's nothing, there is no risk, there's no risk too big. There is no nothing that you could say that would ever like defer from my truth, which is on his heart is a massive mission. And so I knew when we got together, it was either grow and push him to whatever the heck that means, or say, sorry, this life isn't for me. I gotta go. Somebody else can love you and do this better with you. Right. And those are the two options that I had in my head. And so I was like, well, fuck the second one, because I literally don't want anybody to ever think that they could be better or do better for you, because they just can't, you know? And so, and that's truly how I feel. Like nobody could tell me differently. And I want that. And I love that. But I receive that same energy back from you all the time in this life that we're building, you know?
Yeah. No.
And that came from you being truthful and having hard conversations and us trusting each other. I mean, the entirety of why we're building what we can build is because we trust each other. We trust that at the end of the day, when we go to bed, we're on the same team no matter what. And that's it. That's literally it.
Yeah. You know, talk about that gift that you're talking about. Sometimes it doesn't feel like I have it.
I bet some days it feels like a curse too.
Some days like today we're filming, I didn't feel very good. Right. I mean, I kind of woke up, went through some shit, but it gets very heavy sometimes when you feel and see something completely different in your life, and it's not close, and you feel you're getting bled dry and taken advantage of, and you can't find your gift, but you know it's in there, and it just scratches and claws and spins around, but it never gets closer, and you see glimpses of it, and then it gets online, and then it gets chaotic, and it gets, you know, I often think that maybe it's not a gift, I'm just crazy. But do you know how you know if you're crazy or if you're truly like a visionary?
I have no clue, because I don't have that.
You do what you say you're going to do.
There you go. And you always do.
And although I'm not where I want to be, and I'm not where we want to be, and I know that I have a big hurdle right now to be able to build this thing, reboot it from the ground up, and my goals haven't changed, to build a 9-figure company in the next couple of years, and to fly private, to get a private jet, and to do all the shit that I want to do, and to change the world. I will pull it off because I don't know what else I would do with my time. But the people sometimes, you know, and if I take this just to regular people out there that are doing it, I wouldn't be able to do it if I didn't have you. Well, I shouldn't say that. I either need to have 100% of you or none of you. You wouldn't have to worry about any other woman coming in and doing it any different, because I would literally just be alone, locked it like a fucking madman. I would actually, if I wasn't with you guys, sometimes I often think, I don't want to say it would be better, but sometimes I feel like I would just never stop.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we had that conversation when I was talking about going back to Wisconsin. I was like, that might be the best thing. Like, you stay here, we'll be fine. I'm taking care of the kids. They're going to be hanging out, doing their thing. I said, that's one less thing that you have to worry about or stress about, like in the back of your mind, you know, because when you see us here, you're like, oh my God, my kids are unhappy. There's nothing for them. Like, there's just like that nagging feeling. And I said, stay here for an extra month. I said, we can fly back and forth. It's a 3-hour flight. Like, whatever, we'll make it work, you know?
Yeah.
But I did say that. I was like, it might be better for you to just literally lock in like a madman on your own and focus and literally do what you love. And that's to work damn near 20 hours a day, sleep for 2, you know?
At the end of the day, I just remind myself that like the whole purpose here is for you guys to be happy, healthy, right? And my original goal is, I've given my family the best life with the most opportunities possible. And I need to make sure that, like, I write it down every day. I give it a life. And sometimes I think that I know what that looks like, but I don't always know what that looks like for you guys. I have to get feedback from you guys instead of doing it my way, because I don't think that my way is always the most healthy way for you guys, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. So, and being able to say that stuff and to be part of this world we're creating together allows absolute trust and truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's really what it is. Be able to speak the truth with one another allows you to trust each other in ways that
Most people will never
most people
reach.
will never do. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that they don't even take the time out of it. I think that people just get in relationships, they take it for granted. They're like, oh, I got this person and I can have sex with them when I want. And maybe I can or maybe I can't because she's pissed at me or he's pissed at me. And we're going to go together because that's what we do. But we don't know why we're together. We don't even really know if we like each other, but I think we look good together in pictures. And
Well, they
like,
just kind of live this autopilot life. Like their routine is like part of the nagging, part of the bitching, part of the complaining, part of keeping score. Like that is their loop of their life. That's what they like. That's what's normal to them. They're on autopilot. Once couples, if that's why it's like the biggest thing that you could do is be on the same page about your growth, like continuously growing. What does that look like? Having a husband who is so like obsessive about wanting to grow and being a better person in every sense of the form, right? Like then that's when you get the growth in everything, and it's like, okay, how could we be better, and what does that look like, and am I doing my part, and okay, this is what he needs from me and this is what she needs, like, you know. Yeah,
well, that was a great episode.
it's very good.
Trust, truth, and transparency, I think creates a culture and environment. You just got to get crystal clear on what you want. My recommendation to any listeners out there that are not in any relationships was don't go out with anybody like me. Your life will be better.
That's not true.
All right, that's it for this episode. We'll see you guys next week.